welcome everyone to Immerse's fourth demo day. I'm really excited to have you guys in the audience tonight because I think we are all going to be in for a treat. So why don't we get started? I did see in the chat that we have people tuning in from everywhere, which is really cool because we have a really global community here at Bubble. So it's amazing to see all of you guys represented here tonight. So I want to talk a little bit about what you should expect tonight. So you are going to hear from some really phenomenal founders tonight, not just the finalists, but also learn about our entire fourth cohort, actually, that went through our gauntlet of 10 weeks to build the product that they believe their users need. And you're going to learn about their businesses. You're going to hear about the vision. And I think for many of you, right, it'll be interesting because they, especially our finalists, they're solving problems that may actually apply to your life. So if you're getting married soon or starting a family or thinking about buying a piece of property or leading or joining, are they really interesting ideas, but something that actually might be solving a problem in your life, right? And then secondly, I think what will be really interesting for all of you to see is how exactly Bubble is changing who can build software solutions, which is just really our entire mission, which, Emmanuel will get to in a moment, but that is the whole purpose of tonight, for you to see how we actually do that as a company. And so with that being said, for those of you who don't know what Bubble is, we are a visual framework that enables anyone to be able to create web apps without code. And before we actually jump into the meat of tonight, I want you guys to do me a favor. So use the hashtags here, hashtag Immerse Founders, hashtag Immerse at Bubble, hashtag Build with Bubble. I really want you guys to report out about what you're seeing here tonight, because what these founders have achieved is nothing short of amazing. And I would love for your network and just the world really to understand what's happening tonight. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure you're wondering who exactly I am. My name is Nicole, and I lead founder inclusion efforts here at Bubble, and really through our flagship program, Immerse. And my entire journey with Bubble started a few years ago, where I was obsessed with figuring out this idea of informal shipping. And so for those of you who have no idea what that is, if you have one foot in the West and one foot in emerging markets, you have probably been a part of this. And when I was working in West Africa, working for port authorities, it baffled me that we had containers leave empty, while we also at the very same time had small business entrepreneurs who were in Facebook groups, Google groups, asking, hey, is anyone traveling from Johannesburg to New York City? Can you carry something in your luggage and drop it in local mail so it can get to my customer in Connecticut, for example? And when I set out on a journey to figure out how can I fix this thing, how can I formalize this network for people who are part of it across the world, I found that not only did it exist in continental Africa, but where diasporas exist, period. So in Southern Asia, Latin America. And I was obsessed with figuring out, okay, how can I build this thing? And so I ended up setting out on a journey. And for many of you in the audience who are entrepreneurs, like, it is quite a journey having an idea and then trying to figure out how can I bring this to fruition, right? And I started a couple different places. First with Google Forms, where I had my own manual MVP, and I did the whole customer journey, customer discovery process to figure out what actually needed to be built. And when I got to the point where I wanted to build the first version of my MVP, it was crazy to just kind of figure out what step I should take. And so one of the first things I did is I started talking to some dev agencies. And one of them actually promised me that building an app would be as easy as picking toppings on a pizza. And turns out that was actually not the process at all. And it turns out that I'd probably be spending 20 to 50,000, maybe even 70K, actually, depending on the dev agency I was talking to build the first version of my app. And I just wasn't willing to do that. And I'm sure many of you in the audience as entrepreneurs who have, tight pockets and tight budgets will probably feel the same. And the next, I ended up talking to freelancers. And I found during that process that I didn't actually know what I needed, right? So the skill level for these freelancers, it varied from people who were really great at what they did, but there was a certain level of transparency that wasn't there, and the experience varied in certain pockets. And I just, again, didn't really know what I was looking for. And my last kind of branch on this tree was talking to really smart students. And I'm sure some of you are in the audience today, those of you who've been coding since you were 2, and then some of us who might be my age, I don't know if I'm dating myself, who were on like Black Planet or the MySpaces of the world, right? Trying to build things and learned a little bit of HTML. So those versions of us who actually stuck to it and learned how to code. So I learned a lot from them. In the same way I learned a lot from my manual MVP, but these students didn't have a lot of client-side experience. And so it was kind of a rocky road working with them. And so I would say my final straw on this journey was talking to, it was either a freelancer or a smart student who told me, when I asked the question, hey, if I ended up paying this amount of money, and let's say I wanted to make just a quick content change myself, would I be able to do that? And then they went on to a diatribe talking about downloading a virtual environment. And that just didn't sit well with me, right? For those of you who may be a non-technical founder, or maybe you felt like as a founder, your skill set was best, your time was spent best somewhere else in the business, it didn't make sense to me that I needed to start worrying about downloading a virtual environment. So that's what brought me to Immerse. And I was part of the first inaugural program, actually, and was really excited to build actually what I couldn't in 18 months, I built it in 3 months in the Immerse program. And so really, I think my entrepreneurial journey is not just, me outlining what exactly has happened along this ride for me, but really it's a story of how Immerse and Bubble as a company has been able to unlock, help founders of color get unstuck, founders period, but then specifically in the program, help founders of color get unstuck from this place between having an idea and making it real. And so with our Immerse program, what are we? Like, what is Immerse? So we define ourselves as a pre-accelerator where we help BIPOC founders build their first high fidelity MVP. So we've got the manual MVPs going on that I was talking about with the Google Forms, but when you're ready to build a scalable, multi-user, sophisticated app, right? We help you take that first step. And how do we differentiate ourselves? So we are differentiated around the product in and of itself. And the best way for me to say this is that I think as an entrepreneur, you could do a lot of accelerators, right, to help you on the business, but you can only do one kind of Immerse that actually promises that you'll leave with a scalable product to actually test with users tomorrow, right? And so in the program, one of our pillars is a product core, which I'll get into in a moment, but essentially what we've done is distilled product management tools and techniques down to the foundations and the bits that we could teach in a 10-week program, and have helped the founders be able to lay a foundation to build a product in a streamlined way. And that's because we believe founders are their first product managers. And when you think about it, that's really true, right? Especially if you are a solo founder and you're starting out this journey by yourself, you are the one who is tasked with talking to users, finding out what they need, developing a set of criteria, and building what you believe their solution, the first of many versions, I'm sure, of what the solution should look like. And so how do we support founders? Our 3 main pillars are the Bubble core, where first you learn how to visually program. So the founders here that you see tonight, they'll tell you that we went through a pretty intense 2 weeks, right? Where they learned the foundations of how to build in Bubble. And then we have our product core, where through a series of assignments, they will build the architecture of their app, and we'll figure out, because entrepreneurs are very ambitious, they come into the program thinking they can build the world, turns out they can't. And so we take them through the process of distilling down to what might be actually doable in the program. And then we have our business core. And so our business core is really supported by our Immerse Mentor Network, which I'll shout out in a moment. And they volunteer their time to come into the program and really talk about startup fundamentals. They are funders, they are entrepreneurs in early stage, late stage, mid stage. And they dedicate their time to helping the founders understand like what steps they should take as a business. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn the floor over to Emmanuel. Emmanuel is the founder and one of the co-CEOs of Bubble. And he's going to tell you a bit about the company and his founder journey and the whys of why all of you guys are here tonight.
Thank you, Nicole. That was a very eloquent presentation of Immerse. I try to be at that level. The reason I wanted to say a few words is because this month is actually pretty special. Like Bubble is 10 years old. Actually, I think in a couple of days, in the sense that Josh and I met exactly, I think 10 years ago. And when we started the company, it was really with the goal of empowering anyone to build startups, actually. And so Immerse is kind of our way to make that even more clear by now that we have some resources. What happened for the first, like 7-8 years of the company is that we basically couldn't do much more than just create a product. And so that's what we focused on, with always having the goal of, creating a product that's going to be as powerful yet accessible as possible so that people could build exactly what they needed to start a company. And fast forward 8 years, what we realized in 2020 is that at that point, the company had become a little bit bigger in the sense that, we started first of having organic growth, and then eventually we're able to raise funding, which gave us the resources to start being a little bit more, I would say, decisive about showing that Bubble is about, empowering everyone to build technology and startups, but in particular, people from backgrounds that have been more challenged, that have more challenges to access entrepreneurship. And so around the summer of 2020, if you remember, that's when, things started becoming a little bit complicated in the United States, in particular, in terms of social justice. We felt that the best way, we could actually help here was not only to put our product out there, which is what we had done, for 8 years at that point, but also to start creating something that was a little bit more specific, and that became Immerse. And so today, this is our fourth cohort. So it's been about like 2 cohorts a year. And I mean, that's personally my most exciting moment of the quarter, because this is really when we get to see firsthand for us as a team, as a company, how much, people can create in such a short period of time. And stepping back a little bit from Bubble, I want to talk about like this trend now that is called no code, that we kind of started with Bubble, but we're not the only one in this trend. And say that, in addition to just being like a hot trend in technology, because I think that's what people hear a lot about, is something much more meaningful than this, because it's exactly about removing barriers to entry to technology, to start companies, but not only, to basically put software in the hands of people that do not have access to it, to make their situations better, whether it's to start a company or whether it's to solve problems through technology. And I think it's a very important thing. What we're doing tonight is a way to take this early trend, because it's something that people talk a lot about, but it's still extremely early in the no-code journey, and really exemplify how much you can build with this, so that more people join us, because at this point this is not something that just us as a company or us as a group here can do. We need like a very large engagement and a movement behind us to get to actually make clear to anyone, wherever they are, that if they need something, if they need to build something, if they want to start a company, they can actually do it with some efforts, but basically no need for real capital, and much faster than what used to be required a couple of years ago. So last thing I would say to the founders, because tonight it's about the founders. Thank you very much, for trusting us with your ideas and your time. Like when you start a company, this is basically the most important thing usually in your life, and you have many ways to go about it. And the fact that you chose Bubble in general and Immerse in particular to this is something that is very humbling for us as a team. And I speak here not just only on my behalf, but the behalf of the entire team, of the entire company. And everybody is very much looking forward to what you guys have built, and good luck to everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Okay, so now I'm going to take a moment to introduce our judges of the night. First up, we have Boris. So Boris is the founder and senior managing director of Relentless Venture Partners, which is a venture capital funding fund investing in early stage tech and tech-enabled companies founded by Black and Latin American entrepreneurs. He is a change agent that has been recognized as one of 66 Black founders and investors to watch in 2022 by PitchBook. Boris co-founded Black Men Talk Tech, an ecosystem and conference series which supports minority tech entrepreneurs. He also co-founded Funder Capital, a seed investment marketplace. Mr. Moisten dedicates himself to economic justice and filling the venture gap for exceptional founders of color. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Boris, so you can say a couple words. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Nicole. Hey, everyone. Boris Moisten here. I have recently launched Relentless Venture Partners. It's a venture capital fund investing in Series A technology companies. So it's really important for me to partner with folks like Emmanuel and Nicole to have a look at some of the entrepreneurs that you're helping. We try to figure out what the pre-seed and seed stage companies are looking like. So we have some expectations about where we should be investing. Moreover, I love helping people going through the entrepreneurial process. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's extremely challenging. And no matter how it pans out, it's extraordinarily rewarding. So good luck to you guys today. And I hope you all do well.
Thank you, Boris. Next up, we have Carmen. So Carmen has a really interesting story. In 2016, she started this journey towards becoming debt-free. She had terrible credit, like I'm sure all of us do coming out of school, no money saved, and was actually sued for her student loan. She has completely transformed her finances and has paid off approximately $57K in debt in 2 years. Carmen officially became debt-free in September 2018 and saved up money to quit her job and in finance to learn how to no code. So Carmen is now the founder and CEO of Much, a money management app for millennials and Gen Z. Carmen has been featured in Forbes, The Skim, Business Insider, Good Morning America, The Rachel Ray Show, CNBC, Complex News, Cheddar Finance, and Yahoo Finance. And I'm really excited to have you, Carmen. Thank you so much for joining the judging panel tonight. I'll give the floor to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nicole, for having me. I just want to say, to all the founders on, I'm really, really excited about this. I'm actually just on the other side of my demo day, coming out of Techstars, using Bubble as a no-code solution in order to ramp up my MVP. And just a quick side note there, I actually quit my job to learn how to code. And then Bubble just made it 3,000 times easier after I learned how to code. So I wish I would have found Bubble before that. Then I could have just saved myself some pain there. But I'm super excited for you all. Again, I'm coming out of the heels of Techstars at the end of April. I just did my own demo day. And now I'm in a private beta using Bubble. And I think this is a completely incredible platform and a way to, jumpstart your founder journey, your startup, your company, the one that you're building. So super excited, honored to be here. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you all built in the past 10 weeks. And I wish you the best of luck, all of you.
Thanks, Carmen. So this group, this cohort, and the previous ones before them have been supported by what we call the Immerse Mentor Network, as I mentioned earlier. So the Immerse Mentor Network is an incredible group of funders, as I've mentioned, entrepreneurs, people who have, as Boris mentioned, have been along this continuum and are different places on this journey, as Carmen mentioned as well, coming out of her demo day, who have decided that they wanted to give back and share perspectives in an intimate environment with our group. And so I just want to thank all of the Immerse Mentor Network members, past and present. So we have Mac Conwell, Nate Washington, who's also a bubbler, Marielle Vargas, Sheree Robinson, Gary Johnson, Paul Barasuda, Jessica Ogunor, Chinadu Anikwe, Brian Leong Awe, Isis Ashford, and Maria Posa, who is our Bubble developer at Bubble the Company. And I just want to thank you guys for, especially those of you who are in the audience tonight, for your time and effort dedicating to this group. And our group is also supported by Will Erickson, who is our Bubble instructor for the entire 10 weeks of our program. So I think, I think the founders here can tell you that Will really specializes in care and patience when answering questions and helping all of us really to get over this learning curve of learning Bubble and being able to build the app that we envision. And so I just want to thank you, Eric, for your time and effort in the program. Eric runs the Momentum Group based out of Australia, where he's also building apps, the apps of entrepreneur streams based there as well. And so I just want to thank you for your time and effort, Will. And so with that being said, I am really excited to kick off our pitches tonight, the reason why we're all here. And so you're going to hear from 4 incredible founders tonight, one in the childcare space, employee experience, party planning, and real estate investment. And with that being said, we're going to have Dominic kick off the night from Lafayette, Louisiana. Go ahead, take the floor.
And I was on mute. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dominic Mensah, and I'm the founder of Amends. We are on a mission to make it easier for parents to pay for childcare and have enough cushion in their monthly household budget. And for childcare providers to stop chasing people for money and improve their cash flow. So it's very interesting how this all came about. About 2 months ago, I was looking for childcare for my almost 2-month-old daughter. Doing my research online, reading Google, Facebook, and Yelp reviews, I noticed that most of the bad reviews were for late payments. Not only that, when my wife and I visited the local childcare providers, they all stressed the need to make payments on time to guess what? To avoid that evil $25 weekly late payments. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how Pay Amends was born. You see, childcare in America is broken in so many ways. 1 in 3 American families with children below the age of 5 is struggling financially to pay for childcare. Why? It costs too much. You wouldn't believe it. Single parent homes spend as much as 30% of their monthly income on childcare, and 2-parent homes spend as much as 10% on childcare. This is absurd. It's ridiculous. And because of this, most parents have to settle for low quality care providers. And the worst of them all is that our hardworking mothers have to quit their jobs and sacrifice their careers to stay at home. This is ridiculous. According to a 2019 Pew Research, 78% of stay-at-home moms do so because they have to stay home and take care of their family. This is not right, and Pay Amends is going to change that. Our solution will allow parents to make childcare payments up to 70% lower than they would otherwise pay. We are going to ensure that mothers don't have to take out loans and get in debt just to provide childcare. We do not charge interest rates, no late payments, and no hidden fees. One of our coolest features is we allow parents to reschedule their payment due date within their billing cycle. This allows them to make repayments at any time so they don't have to worry about overdraft fees. In the future, we plan to report the repayments to the credit bureaus as a way to help people boost their credit. You see, using our platform also allows you to give back to the community. And this is something that I'm very, very proud of, to say that we're going to use 20% of our profit to set up a scholarship fund that will pay for 100% of childcare for people in low-income areas. I'm super excited for today, as you can tell, because we have finally been able to achieve the bigger milestone of having a workable MVP. So what's next? Well, we're going to go into stealth mode and work with our childcare providers, childcare partners to onboard their customers. And I'm super stoked and happy to say that within 2 months, we finally have a local childcare provider that cares for about 200 to 300 children per year, ready to run our beta test. I mean, we couldn't have done this without Bubble, right? Thank God for Bubble. Now, the fun part, the market opportunity. There are over 5 million parents in America with children below the age of 5. Out of this 5 million, 2.8 million makes some form of childcare payment. The average monthly childcare in the United States is $755. So we are looking at a total market size of $2.1 billion per month or $25 billion per year. How are we going to make money? Well, we'll make money from a monthly subscription fee of $15.99. In the next 3 years, we are projecting to have 55 users per year, which will translate to a revenue of a little above 10 million per year. Beyond that, we plan to build payments API for the childcare industry, roll out rewards program where we will connect parents to baby retailers and make commissions from the referrals. Not only that, we're also going to look to building premium tools for the care providers in a way to streamline some of the operational processes. You see, our vision is not just to provide lending services, but tech solutions for the childcare industry. How do things look around us? We are in a really good space as the first movers in payments and lending within the childcare industry. Most of the players around are mainly focused on payments for retail purchases. The instant cash advance services offer a relatively small amount of money, and you have to completely pay it off before you can request for more. This doesn't work for childcare because a parent needs a recurring weekly or monthly service, and they simply can't afford to wait 8, 12, 16 weeks before new credit is extended to them. Our competitors also charge interest rates and run soft credit checks. As I mentioned earlier, we don't do any of those. Our eligibility requirements is centered around income verification. And now the winning team. Right now, I'm on. I'm a solo founder, but we are looking to change that. I started my career with Accenture in banking and payments. One of my claim to fame is being the lead project manager for the New York City Department of Education, public facing and intranet website development. Schools at nyc.gov serves over 1 million students. Lastly, as I mentioned earlier, I have a 2-year-old, but 2 months ago, the Lord blessed my wife and I with 2 beautiful twin girls, and we are looking to. So this is a service that I personally need, and I'm going to ensure that we make this happen because Lord knows when I look at my budget, I need this service. So anyone out there that can hear me or see me today, I want you to please do me a favor and visit payamends.com to sign up for our wait list. I would love for any of you that are currently parents or going to be parents in the future to give this a try and let me know how I can improve the service. I'm also looking to surround myself with like-minded people. So if you like what you heard today and ready to embark on this journey with me, then I'm looking for you. Finally, I'm looking for a lending partner to help us empower American families and provide access to quality childcare for all American kids. This is Pay Amends, a stress-free, flexible payment service. If you have any questions or just want to talk, feel free to reach out to me, Dominic@payamends.com. Thank you very much, and God bless. Now we're going to take a look at how the onboarding process and the user dashboard works. Thank you. Amy, a new mother to a 4-month-old girl, shockingly discovers that childcare will cost as much as 30% of her monthly take-home pay. A friend recommended Pay Amends, a stress-free childcare payment service, and Amy is here to sign up. From the Pay Amends website, she clicks on the Join Pay Amends button. If Amy didn't have a job, she would click on No and complete a survey. Because she has a job, she click Yes to create her account. Here she's told to check her inbox to verify her account. After verifying her account, she proceeds to provide information about her child and a child care provider. In step 4, she tells us how much her monthly childcare cost is, how many months she wants Pay Amends to pay her childcare fees for, and how she plans to make repayments, weekly or bi-weekly. After she specifies how she wants to make payments, Amy will see on the screen how much her weekly or bi-weekly payment will be. In addition to that, she will also see how long it will take for her to complete repayment. So if she do bi-weekly, she will see how much bi-weekly will be. Weekly will also see amount. This amount here includes the monthly membership fee of $15.99. Next, Amy will add her payment method to her account. This is the card that Pay Amends will auto bill on her payment due date. She saves her card to her account. Next is for Amy to submit her eligibility requirements, starting with Social Security number. To verify her Social Security number, she clicks on Verify Social Security button, and using the Stripe Identity Verification API, Amy will submit her information for her Social Security to be approved. Hit Submit. Continue on in the process. The second eligibility requirement is to verify state-issued ID, and she'll proceed to submit her identification for verification. There are 3 options. Amy opts for uploading a file. She also can choose either driver's license, identity card, or passport. She chooses driver's license. That also looks good. Continue on in the process. The third eligibility requirement is proof of income. Here, Amy will upload her pay stub for verification. If she made a mistake, she can start again and make sure she uploads the right document. In step 7, Amy will provide her personal information and also verify her phone number as a way to secure her account and also verify her identity. Using the Twilio API, we'll send an SMS code to Amy's phone so Amy can enter the code right here into her onboarding account and verify her phone number. The final step in the onboarding process is for Amy to review the information that she submitted to make sure there are no errors and accurate information has been captured. Everything is good. She submits the application. After account approval, Amy can safely log into her account and will have access to her dashboard. On the dashboard, she can invite friends to use Pay Amends. She can also see a summary of her account. One of the best parts about Pay Amends is that Amy can reschedule her payment to any day within her billing cycle. She's on a weekly plan. Her next auto pay date is on the 23rd. She wants to make a payment a little bit later. She can choose to do so. Her new auto payment date has been updated and also reflected on the dashboard. On the dashboard, Amy can also update her account details. She can edit her password and update her address if that has changed. She can also request to cancel her account. You can safely log out. This is Pay Amends, flexible childcare payments for parents with kids under the age of 5.
All right, thank you, Dominic. And so now we are going to hear from the judges, and they have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
I'm up to go first if that's okay. Hey, Dominic, just quickly, I just have a few questions. One around product readiness, one about the API connections, and one around feasibility. First of all, great presentation, great solution. I too have two children. I lived in New York City, with a child, really expensive, and I also lived in North Carolina with a child as well. And if you're using high-end daycare, it just doesn't get cheap, right? So I get it. Quick question here. So the product looks beautiful. The design is wonderful, by the way. Is that, if that was all bubble based, that's amazing. Is the product ready for use right now, like at your preferred customers' facility?
Yes, everything you saw is 100% bubble and bubble only. The product is 100% ready. Everything is good to go. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to go in stealth mode and work with the providers directly to onboard customers. But everything is good to go. The user dashboard you saw there, all the APIs are ready, are functional. For the demo purposes, I had to use the test. So I don't use the production data. So that's why you saw that in the video. But yes, it's ready and good to go.
During your presentation, you were talking about API connections to make direct payments in the future. So how are the facilities actually getting the money? Are you holding it and then doing batch payments to them?
So that's part of that's part of the reason why we're going into stealth mode, so I can understand more in terms of the payments for the childcare, for the payment providers, how that works. But for right now, I'm gonna be making manual payments on their behalf. Once I learn about the nuances within the different providers, then the goal there is to, as I mentioned earlier, provide that API that we can seamlessly onboard people and allow them to automatically withdraw the money. But that's all part of the research.
And finally, around feasibility, who's actually backing or financing the payments?
So for right now, my savings account is doing that. So I'm looking to, the goal here is to have the MVP, go out there, test the market, and then look to see if I can raise some debt capital or find an underwriting partner to help me scale this out. But for right now, it's strictly out of my pocket.
Thank you. I'm good.
Have you had conversations with lending providers yet? In terms of, the kind of expectations that you have, risks on the financial side?
No, not yet. But I do have a couple of friends who've gone that route where they raised some debt capital. So I'm looking to talk to them to understand more. But as of right now, no, I've been 100% focusing on the product. I got this idea literally a week before Immerse started, so I'm still at the early stages trying to put the pieces together.
I mean, the product looks amazing.
Thank you.
Kudos to that.
Dominic, it looks incredible. I just have one quick question in terms of like the actual risk assessment around, the risk assessment around the actual person that you're essentially providing a bridge loan to. Is that correct? I mean, it looks like you can only go up to 6 months in the platform, or 3 months.
Right. With the MVP, yes,
Okay.
I'm going to limit it to 6 months, but once I learn more about the market and be able to raise capital, hopefully in future we can scale it and be able to maybe go year round if possible. But for right now, yes, we're going to limit it to up to 6 months at a time.
Awesome. And I'm curious on how you landed on kind of that assessment in terms of the proof of income. Have you seen any increased risk with maybe not asking certain data points and you incorporated them later on during this 10 weeks? Or was this the starting point and you're looking to kind of fine tune that in terms of, approving folks to come on the platform or not?
Right, that is, so one is the starting point. And also when I looked around in the industry, most of the short-term loans, I looked at some of the eligibility requirements, what is out there. And, my goal also here is to open it up to as many parents as possible. So I thought not to make the requirements too stringent and only use income verification. So as long as I can see that, you are an actual human being, I can verify that you are, and I can verify that you have income and can actually make repayments, then I want to open this service up to you.
Okay. Thank you, judges. So we do have a question from the audience. So Dominic, can you talk a bit about what happens if a user defaults on their payment plan?
Right, so that's all part of the things that I need to work on. But for right now in Bubble, if you miss 2 payments, your account gets shut off. So right now that's the limitation that I have in place. But I'm looking to learn, with the the defaults and how I'm going to manage all that. I haven't 100% figured that out. But what I have in place right now is to stop payments if you default on two payments within your billing cycle.
Okay, thank you. And next up, we have Esra, who is the founder of Verve, and she's going to tell you a bit about her company.
Hi, everybody. I'm Esra, and I'm the founder of Verve, and we're bringing teams together anywhere. Distributed work is here to stay. Global employers around the world are making bold commitments to remote work. And it's no secret that the in-office, the traditional in-office 9 to 5 is now a thing of the past. Now, this has created many benefits for employees and employers alike, but does come with some challenges. Notably, it's making it much harder to build a sense of belonging. A recent study found that 40% of employees are likely to quit, and 52% of them cited a lack of belonging as one key reason. The office used to be a natural unifier that used to bring us all together. And employees, particularly those from minority groups, are now lonelier than ever, contributing to what we're seeing now as a great resignation, or the big quit. As a manager myself, I was keen to ensure that my team felt connected despite our remote setup. And like all journeys, I started on Google. I spent hours trolling through articles, vendor sites, reviews, trying to find fun team events for my team. But once I found some options, then came the back and forth with vendors, requesting quotes, the endless contact us forms, not to mention the stream of follow-up emails that I then had to unsubscribe from. But the fun didn't stop there. Once I secured an event, the logistics battle then began. I had to turn to other tools like SurveyMonkey or Google Sheets to collate availabilities, RSVPs, shipping addresses, the list goes on. I also kept hearing about new Slack apps and thought perhaps it's worth giving one of those a try, but it was always the same story. It was exciting at the start, but then quickly lost its novelty. And I knew that there had to be a simple integrated solution so that managers could focus on their day jobs supporting their teams and clients. And so now more than ever before, it's clear that companies need a turnkey way to keep their distributed teams connected. And that's where Verve comes in. We offer curated team experiences, rituals, and tools that make it very easy to bring your team together. So let's talk through our offerings. Our first are our team experiences that allow teams to connect from anywhere. It's a simple 3-step process. First, users explore our curated experiences, ranging from engaging magic shows to baking classes with celebrity chefs. Then you leave all the details to us. That's things like the vendor coordination, the RSVP collection, any shipping or logistics that's required. And so you can just show up on the day. Our teams loved our unique experiences, but Zoom fatigue and global time zones meant that it was sometimes hard to always rely on connecting synchronously. And so teams were looking for ways to connect asynchronously. And that's why we're launching our curated rituals. These are designed to spark conversations and connections anywhere. Users start by exploring a catalog of team building rituals designed by a panel of remote experts. And these include things like fun team games like our gift battles, or check-ins, thought-provoking questions, and other nudges like our inclusion or well-being nudges. Once selected, you can set them up in a matter of minutes. Then you can just lean back. Your team will receive ritual prompts and questions routinely on their Slack channel to ignite conversations either directly on Slack or during an upcoming standing meeting like a team all hands. Verve helps companies do 3 things. Firstly, build culture via our simple tools and solutions. Secondly, improve retention by fostering a greater sense of belonging. And thirdly, boosting productivity, not only by reducing that administrative burden, but more importantly, creating stronger networks. Research shows that engaged teams are 22% more productive. And so let's talk about the space. Now, there are 320 million remote workers globally, and we estimate that annual spend on employee experience is around $32 billion annually. Verve is tapping into this market. Today, we operate as a marketplace, generating a 15% commission on booked experiences paid for by the host, not the booker. And looking forward, as we launch more tools and services, we plan to launch Verve memberships, a single subscription offering all your remote team culture needs. Now, we launched version 1 of our website pre-bubble earlier this year and had some great success. We generated over $50,000 in revenue by serving 45 teams at leading global companies. And most importantly, our service is resonating with customers. We have an NPS score above 80, and 91% of users felt closer to their team after their event. Looking forward to Q3, we're excited to be launching our new website built on Bubble and also our rituals offering. We believe that Verve is the ultimate get-together platform, offering both asynchronous and synchronous solutions with global reach. Other event platforms like Hopin are great for self-hosted events, but an over-reliance leads to Zoom fatigue and also requires heavy lifting on the part of managers to arrange engaging events. Our Verve experience hosts deal with all of that so you can enjoy the event like your team. Secondly, culture apps like Donuts are great async tools, but their narrow offerings like Coffee Chat Roulette lack novelty, and put simply, they quickly become quite boring. Lastly, there are event marketplaces like Boombox, but typically these are regionally focused and unable to ship kits to more global teams. At Verve, we partner with multiple hosts to deliver on a single experience in order to support teams around the world. So let's take a look at some of our most successful features. So firstly, to ensure inclusivity, we made it easy to create polls to request your team's input for upcoming events. Secondly, for users struggling to decide, we've created a gamified survey for some more tailored recommendations. We use some lighthearted questions, making this a great way for you to learn more about your team. And on the back end, our algorithm then provides recommendations based on your team's input. So no more scrolling through Google for team event ideas. Next, our registration links make it very easy to collate RSVP and attendee details, meaning no more SurveyMonkey. And for companies using Verve, we've simplified expense reporting by departments or teams so leaders can set budget constraints and measure spending over time. And lastly, our 2-button Slack connection is seamless. You can view existing channels and select one for your team to receive their ritual prompts. Now, as for the team today, it's just me for now. Now, prior to launching Verve, I was a manager at McKinsey helping Global 500 companies with their organizational health and corporate strategy. I was also previously employee number 1 at a toy subscription startup. Now, I'd love to have your support on this journey, so please check out our website, bookverve.com, or follow us on LinkedIn as well. And we're actively looking for more team members. So if anyone's passionate about the space or is a Bubble developer excited about our problem, please do reach out. Lastly, I'd love to introduce you to our product demo and be on the lookout for a small Pixar Easter egg. Thank you for your time. Sarah recently joined Unicorn Tech as a VP and is eager to build a thriving culture for a distributed team of 10. She decides to check out Verve and is immediately intrigued by the portfolio of events and notices global brands are already using Verve. She skims through the steps and clicks Explore Experiences to get started. With nothing specific in mind, she scrolls through a few experience categories and opts to add some filters. Sarah has a global team. Now, Sarah's always had green fingers. Could terrariums be a budding team event? She clicks on Terrariums 101 and explores the event in more detail. She has the option to ask a question and also generate a quick quote. Once she's ready, she can check availability, but she's keen to check out some more options first. With so many options, Sarah decides to try out Verve's recommendations. First, she needs to sign up. In 3 simple steps, she's ready to go. With her team in mind, she answers a few engaging questions. Now, this isn't your standard survey. Verve makes this exciting with a quick round of the popularized game, Would You Rather? In under a minute, she's got some tailored recommendations. She recognizes the option to tag her favorites and is soon prompted to create a team poll. Sarah shares this poll link with her team via Slack. Now Peter, an engineer on Sarah's team, notices a Slack alert, and curious to find out more, he checks out the options. Just like Sarah, he's excited by the terrarium experience and submits his vote. A couple of days later, Sarah receives a notice from Verve with an update on her team poll, so she views the responses on her dashboard. Coincidentally, her team were also excited by the terrarium experience. She clicks Book Now. Sarah looks to check availability with her host. And just like that, she's all set. Great! She clicks to view all her experiences. In a matter of hours, Sarah receives an email from Verve confirming her experience, and she returns to the dashboard to get RSVPs by sharing a registration link with her team via Slack. In doing so, Verve is able to collate the team's details, including mailing addresses, to arrange all the logistics, saving Sarah valuable time. Peter, on Sarah's team, receives this registration link and signs up for the event along with all her other teammates. All set. With their team event scheduled in 2 weeks, Sarah looks for ways to connect with her team in the meantime. She opts to set up a Verve ritual. These are icebreakers, games, and nudges designed to ignite conversations. Sarah is keen to learn more about her teammates, so she opts to set up an icebreaker ritual to liven up the team's weekly stand-ups. Her team will receive icebreakers directly on Slack and will use these to keep things fresh, establishing a new team ritual. She fills in a few details: a ritual start date, frequency, and a receiving team Slack channel. First, she'll need to connect to Slack. And selects a team channel. This is where her team will receive ritual prompts in advance of each weekly meeting. And that's it, she hits setup. She can now return to her dashboard to view her rituals and manage any ongoing rituals there. On Tuesday, before their weekly meeting, the full team receives a stimulating icebreaker prompt on Slack, so they can say goodbye to the Zoom small talk and hello to inspired connections. Are you ready to give it a try? Visit bookverve.com today.
Thank you, Esra. So now the judging panel will serve up their questions.
I guess I'll go first. Have you, this is a great product, congratulations. Have you thought about distribution? Like, how are you thinking to get customers here?
Yeah, for sure,
Like
for sure.
Two-sided network like that.
Yeah, of course. So to start off on the customer side, we're thinking about three main things. The first are Meet Verve events. So we're thinking about sharing the product with key people leaders and specific organizations that we know are remote first. Secondly, we're also thinking about establishing exclusive collaborations with companies in the remote space. So there are companies like remote.com or Let's Deal that focus on the onboarding of remote employees, but they typically have marketplaces for their consumers. So we'd love to list as partners on those sites so we can quickly address our key user base. And then thirdly, of course, advertising through either Google search or also LinkedIn, because we're quite clear on who are the specific individuals and organizations that are responsible for setting up these events. So it's a people leader or head of employee experience, that type of thing.
And have you been able to test paid acquisition, for instance, or not yet?
Yes, so we've actually reached out to remote.com, so some early companies around listing on their marketplace. And then secondly, when it comes to Google search, we started playing around with that and we're seeing good click-through rates and some early conversion, but only 1 or 2 conversions because we've just started that and we have a small budget. Does that answer your question?
Yep, thank you.
I just have a quick one in terms of like pipeline for what team managers can pick from and the activities. How are you going about or thinking about keeping that fresh in terms of different ideas and rolling in new products? And logistic wise, if it's a physical product, how are you all solving for I guess maybe wider distribution, or if a particular provider doesn't have a product, let's say because of what's going on in the economy right now?
Yeah, of course. I'll hit on the first question there around keeping it fresh. We love to create thematic themes. So you saw there in this month, we had events there listed for Pride. So each month we're bringing on new listings related to what's going on that month. And then secondly, on your question around supply chains, of course, this will be an issue for us. And that's part of the reason why we're trying to connect with multiple hosts around the world and connect them to deliver on a single experience. So where you see one listing around candle making experience, that might actually be delivered by 2 hosts in order to get past that shipping challenge, in order to ensure that we're able to ship kits quickly. So we introduce those 2 hosts, they get to know each other, they're aware of the differences in their kits, and then they can ensure they can accommodate for that in the event.
And I only have a few questions too. First of all, great presentation and great platform. I'm convinced that Emmanuel has to figure out how to get all these demo videos onto YouTube because they're beautiful. I don't know if I missed this, but how do you make money again?
Of course. So right now we're operating as a marketplace. So we take a 15% commission on all booked experiences. That's actually taken from the host side as opposed to the booker side. Yeah.
That's right. And are you marketing this as a future of work platform to a lot of the HR conferences that are out there?
Not yet, but for sure that would be something that we'd want to do once we scale up. But for sure that would be a target use case.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a I know one major Fortune 50 company in the US where employee workplace happiness is a big deal, especially since a lot of their workers are now remote and they do over 16,000 Zoom meetings a day. So figuring out it's a big deal for them. So it'll be interesting to see what the feedback from an HR conference would be, a future of work HR conference. And then the last question around competition, is there no one doing similar things?
Yes, so there are experience marketplaces out there. So think about an Airbnb experiences, focus on that corporate segment. That being said, they don't have the async synchronous balance that we have with our rituals offering. And secondly, they're very regionally focused. So a lot of these are actually focused on North America and can't ship outside of Canada or the US. We're trying to build out that global platform to ensure that we're accommodating for global teams, which is increasingly so the trend we're seeing now.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we have another question from Robert in the audience who wants to know, so he said, you mentioned minorities feeling a lack of belonging. What early indicators or statistics have you seen so far that Verve can assist with overcoming this?
Yeah, so for us, it's really around the tools that we're using to ensure that inclusivity. So the team polls, the team quiz. With regards to specific metrics, we haven't tracked on our feedback surveys, we haven't tracked people's identities yet, just because we're operating in Europe and North America, and there are some constraints around what data you can request of folks within Europe, particularly when it comes to their ethnic background. So we haven't hit on that just yet, but for sure, as we grow and we're able to secure a better sort of knowledge base on our users, we'd love to be able to prove that out for sure.
Okay, thank you, Esra.
Thank you.
All right, third up, we have Lisa, who is the founder of Bride Squad. Take it away, Lisa.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen? I just want to be sure.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hello, everyone. I am Lisa Michelle, the founder of Bride Squad, and I believe that we should live every moment of life to the fullest. And that's why I created Bride Squad, which is an app to plan bachelorette parties and all things bridal stress-free. Now, last year, I planned my wedding and was also maid of honor in my best friend's wedding. And as wonderful as it was, our weddings were only 4 months apart. And on top of our weddings being so close together, I'd become a mother and was moving 2,000 miles across the country. And it was hard to be in the moment because planning for everything was stressful. And sadly, this is a common experience in the US. In fact, 2.4 million weddings happen every year. In our study with over 300 bridesmaids, 71% feel overwhelmed. Another study found that 56% feel financial pressure, and over 50% go into debt becoming bridesmaids. And this is absurd because moments like this should be far from stressful. But between all the chaos of planning plus managing your own life, these moments can quickly become a nightmare. And this is because there's nothing to help people do everything they need to. From booking experiences, staying up to date, keeping track of expenses, it's hard to juggle all of these things. And it's no wonder that people get overwhelmed and they feel they have to choose between celebrating the people they love or keeping a peace of mind. But I believe that you shouldn't have to choose. So I created a marketplace and suite of planning tools to help family and friends do 3 things: save time when they're celebrating this new chapter, save money when they're traveling and with any party expense, and above all, share these moments without anything ruining this once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I'm confident in tackling this issue because the software is easy to use. All it takes is 3 easy steps. First, users invite everyone with a group link. From there, they can share tasks, polls, and purchase everything from activities, flights, party supplies, and all of that in one space. And finally, they can relax with everything taken care of in the app. Now, this is a list of all the features in the app. From our research, we found many bridesmaids tried tools to help solve their problem. Whether it was Pinterest to find inspiration, Splitwise to track payments, or an Excel sheet to keep a to-do list, none of these apps worked together and only made users more frustrated in the end. Bride Squad is the first of its kind to combine planning, exploring, and purchasing for parties in an easy way. Now, there are 2 features that set us even further apart from competitors. It's our rewards and our itinerary builder. Rewards let users earn points for gift cards, which is huge when you think about the amount of money people spend. It's well over $1,000 per person. But rewards also encourage people to pay each other back and complete their task on time, which is a lifesaver for people in charge of the party. Now, the itinerary builder is really special, so I will save that for the demo, but just know that it is a huge time-saving feature that none of our competitors offer. And when we look at our competitors, we see that Bride Squad takes the lead in creating a seamless user experience. Other apps miss the mark by not addressing every part of the planning process. And simply put, there's a gap in the market. And the market is huge. Nearly $30 billion is spent by people in wedding parties. And when we look at our potential share of the market, the opportunity sits at $2.6 billion annually. Now, our app is free to use. And when we release the newest version of our app, we'll add a pro subscription with the free plan. And pro users can access our pro planning tools like the itinerary builder. But how we sustain our business isn't dependent on subscriptions. Our core revenue model is commission-based, with a commission made on all transactions from the app. And here you'll see a list of the types of purchases that can be made. And users can purchase from places that they already shop, like Amazon and Expedia, to get the best deals. And by giving users a variety of places to spend, we minimize our overhead and provide them an easy way to shop for everything in one place. Now, it's been 18 months since we released our MVP. It's a mobile app that's available on the app stores. And in that time, we've gained over 7,000 users and added more than 350 local businesses to our marketplace. Looking on our journey so far, we're excited about our growth, but even more so for the team that we're growing to fulfill our vision. And behind that vision of Bright Squad are 3 incredible women. Together, we have over 20 years of experience in event management, user research, innovation, and digital marketing. And we are passionate about our vision to be the #1 party planning software on the planet where people can celebrate sustainably and stress-free. And thanks to Bubble, we're making great strides toward that vision. Now, in the demo, you'll get a deep dive into our web app, but that is the beginning. Our roadmap includes creating more innovative tools and valuable subscriptions for players in all areas of the party planning industry. For now, though, we've opened up our public beta for Bright Squad 2.0 to get user feedback. And we really can't wait to get your feedback. We want Bright Squad to become the game-changing software that we know it can be, and getting honest feedback from you helps us do that. So if you love what we're doing and want to join us, please reach out and visit our website. We'd love to grow our team. And in closing, thank you so much for your time and being a part of our journey. I hope you enjoy the demo of Bright Squad 2.0.
Hi everyone, let's dive into the demo. This is our website. When you click this button, you can create an account to test Bright Squad 2.0. We already created an account, so we'll sign in and be welcomed into the app. Bright Squad offers a free and pro version, and since we haven't upgraded, this pop-up appears. Free accounts can use most features of the app, with a limit of 8 members to their squad. Our bridal party has 9 people, so we'll go ahead and upgrade so that we can invite everyone. When we do, we'll see that we have options between a monthly and an annual plan, along with the list of the pro plan features. We'll start with the monthly plan and share our payment details secured by Stripe. Once we've confirmed our payment, we can head back to our dashboard. Now with our pro account, we can use premium features like uploading a cover image or using the itinerary builder. Now it's time to invite our squad. Doing so is as easy as copying and pasting a magic link. We can share the link by email or send ourselves a text message. Our members have already joined, so we can start planning. Users that create the squad are owners and see a special tab called My Checklist. Our checklist has a special feature called Smart Actions, suggesting certain actions based on the task. This task is about choosing a date, so the app suggests that we create a poll. If we open a different task, we'll see that the suggested actions have changed. This is perfect for our not-so-savvy planners looking for guidance on what to do and when to do it. Next to the checklist are sections that all members can see, starting with the squad task. Here, members can create and assign tasks to keep up with the items unique to their party. Adding a task is easy and conveniently located on our sticky header. We can assign our task in a number of ways. to certain members attending an event like the bridal shower, certain people, ourselves, or the squad. This flexibility is extremely helpful because each squad is different and deserves the freedom to plan these events the best way that works for them. Once you create a task, you'll see your task count increase across the dashboard and receive a notification to complete it. Next to tasks are the squad polls. When you vote on a poll, the app shows the winning option, making it easy to see all the decisions made by the squad. With all decisions made, you can focus on more exciting things like planning the bachelorette party. Let's do that now by hopping to the Explore tab. Bride Squad has a growing list of everything needed to plan the perfect event. From destinations to party themes and experiences, you can plan and purchase everything right within the app. For each item, you can see the squad's and the bride's favorites. With this feature, you can book everything stress-free, knowing it's something the bride and the entire squad will love. To purchase an item, you'll be taken to our partner sites. Once Bride Squad 2.0 is out of beta, you'll be able to make direct in-app payments. For now, after booking, you can add an expense with the same assignment options as a task. For the demo, we'll create a new expense and split it amongst the squad. Now that we've created a new expense, let's open our wallet to see it. To the left, we see the expense we just created, split evenly between the 9 members of our squad. Once this version is out of beta, you'll be able to earn points for all in-app payments and trade them for gift cards to your favorite brands and other rewards. The next feature shown in this demo is the Itinerary Builder, which is a complete game changer. This premium feature lets you visually design a custom itinerary for any event. Favorite activities and a library of ideas can be dragged, dropped, and sorted into any order. You can add days, your own activities, and even calculate the distance from one item to another. The stress of mapping travel times and when to do the things that you planned is eliminated with this time-saving feature. And finally, for any needed discussions, you can talk all things bridal in the squad chat. Thank you so much for viewing the Bride Squad 2.0 demo.
All right, judges.
I have a few questions, and I keep telling forget to, Boris is doing a great job of this. Fantastic app. Everyone else that has come before as well, fantastic job on what you're building. This is incredible. Like, I'm at a loss for words each time I'm seeing every demo. So just want to make sure now I remember to say it. Great job, first and foremost. I did have like a couple of quick questions. Right now, what are you seeing the average spend per group in terms of like what they're logging, what that looks like? I'll just start there.
Yeah, that's a great question. So for all of the activities, we actually released that in March. So prior to March, it was strictly party planning tools. And so to date, I think about $1,000 in revenue that we've seen, but most of that has actually been on party supplies, believe it or not. So people are very excited about themes, getting into it, being able to customize everything. So that's what we've seen so far.
In terms of like and thank you, that answered that question. In terms of like the incentives to purchase in-app, how are you looking at that when you're, adding the ability to link to Amazon and all of that? I guess, is there more of a seamless process? I guess, what kind of stops the user from going off platform to be able to make those purchases or coordinate off platform, to just tying it back to your revenue model, 10% commission on the transaction?
Right, and that's a great question. And that's one of the pieces of why we introduced rewards, because we want people to spend in the app. And so right now, because we're an affiliate partner, as long as they're linked to our code and to our business, we get a commission off of that. But what we are looking to do is basically a lot of our partners, most of our partners all have direct APIs. And so we'll be able to build off of that and put the entire purchasing process within the app. So they never really have to leave. And I think one of the biggest things that I get excited about with the app is that, you know, you want to have a seamless experience. If you can add everything in your cart in one dashboard and then automatically be able to say, hey, I paid for this, split it amongst the squad. Everyone knows what they need to purchase. That's the big thing about this app. You know, if you just go to Amazon, you have to go back and tell everybody this is what I purchased. But if you do it in our app, it automatically does all of that for you.
Awesome. And just one last question. Sorry, guys. Just one more. Are there plans to open this up to different groups? Because there seems to be so much utility in this in terms of planning for groups of friends, family, family reunion, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Is there any plans to open it up? And are there any competitors currently in the space or competitor adjacent kind of in the space that you all?
Yeah, so I'll start with the competitor space. There are competitors more specific to just bachelorette parties. So there's actually one in particular that just does bachelorette parties. For us, we focus on the entire experience. So you can plan your bachelorette party, the bridal shower, you know, whatever other party the bride thinks of that she wants to do, because in this day and age, people make up whatever they want. But with all of those competitors, it's not a seamless experience. So they don't bring in that ability to be able to purchase within the app and then log that automatically and remove that stress. And then to your second question, we absolutely want to open it up. Our vision literally is become the #1 party planning software on the planet. But to do that, we have to focus on a specific niche and really understand the needs of our customers. And I felt that just my personal experience and being in a wedding, weddings may be one of the most complex parties to plan because there's so many things involved, so many things to think about. So we feel like when we nail this, we'll easily be able to nail, you know, expanding into birthday parties or reunions, because we'll have all of those advanced functions and features figured out once we nail our niche.
From a product perspective, you started with a native application on a phone, right? How do you think about the split between the phone application and the web laptop application?
Yeah, so when we came into Bubble Immerse, we actually started wanting to do a mobile app, but you know, that's a whole other thing. But from some of the research that we did, we found that a lot of our users are, you know, on their desktop looking at Pinterest, going to separate businesses on Google search, trying to find, you know, a yacht rental for Miami. So a lot of them, even though they like the convenience of being on their mobile phones to text somebody, they still do a bulk of their planning on the desktop. And so that's why we're excited to be able to provide both the desktop and the mobile version. And so to get it right, we're still doing the beta for the web app to really understand everything. And then once we do, we can just minimize that down and offer it into a mobile application.
And so the goal would be to build the mobile app using Bubble as a backend, I guess?
Yes. We actually, it's kind of started in terms of the build. We are working with the BDK, right? Because they allow you to, you know, build a native app. So yes, all of it would be in Bubble.
Got it.
Cool. A quick question in terms of, I believe you did have a product up and running before. How many users do you have or have you had come through the platform?
7,000 users.
Yeah. And in terms of thinking about, you know, your vision going out and your roadmap, is there anything else that you're thinking about adding, any additional features that's a must-have or good to have that you don't have yet, and what would it be?
There's definitely a lot of different features that we could add, but one thing that stuck out in my mind as part of that process is just inviting people. You know, so right now we have, you know, the magic link where you can add people in, but a lot of people that we're finding, we actually have templates for people where they can create their own itineraries. So what I'm thinking would be really nice as we continue to grow our platform is to be able to have, you know, custom invites or digital invites, actually, because we do want to be more sustainable and being able to say, hey, once you create your invite and you can send it within the app and everything starts to pull into the app, because inviting is literally one of the first steps of being able to plan the party.
Yeah, I want to congratulate you on how far you got. I know a team that started to build a similar app for wedding planning. It was actually done by a very popular New York City wedding planning book writer. But when their sugar mama, who was paying for anything, decided to leave them, they couldn't pay for the developers anymore. So you've got a far way. It is really complex. And yes, if you need to outsource development, it's going to cost you a couple of houses. So congratulations on getting this far. It's a big deal. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, panel. So we have a question from the audience for you, Lisa. Someone wants to know, how do you plan to retain users once the bridal planning process is over?
Yes, that's a great question, and things that I think about often. So one part of that is the rewards incentives, right? So if you do any sort of purchasing in the app, regardless if it's for the bridal party, you're still able to get those rewards. We've seen a lot of our users outside of just doing their bridal party planning start to do group travel and other things that require all this intensive work of getting people together. And so because of that, we're seeing this opportunity to start to expand, and we'll have to continue to grow our user base. But once we get to that point, we'll be able to expand into, birthday parties or just get-togethers and offer this tool on a more general basis so that users can get the benefit outside of, that wedding season.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, last but not least, we have Mike, who's the founder of Relo.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep. Go ahead and make sure that it's in full screen, the audience view.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, hello, can you see?
So Mike, we're actually seeing your presenter view. So just make sure if you have a second monitor that you're showing the other one. Yeah.
Okay. 1 second. Stop sharing. Again.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Gerard. I am the founder of Relo CRE. And Relo is a real estate brokerage and a data platform that helps real estate professionals and property owners make sense of real estate data. The platform simplifies real estate market research and investment analysis. Our mission is to provide all real estate professionals with complete data for property reports and truly actionable insights for real estate investment decisions. With over 15 years combined experience as a real estate broker and also as a former mortgage loan officer and as a futures trader, I experienced firsthand how data has impacted investment decisions, specifically in the real estate industry. As a young adult, I wanted to be a pilot. Actually, I wanted to fly, and also I wanted to be an architect. Being a broke college student basically led me to discover my true passion is actually real estate. Enrolling at SUNY Morris Real Estate University and in upstate New York, the closest entertainment to campus was a pizza store and a gas station. I was broke, I was looking for a job, and I realized that there were many homes that were boarded, and some homes, like people were living in the homes, but they needed help. I would knock on doors and ask, hey, can I fix your porch? Or do you have anything in the home that I can help you fix? So one day I came up with this amazing idea. What if I can purchase homes and repair them myself? And unfortunately for me, I was a broke college student, but I had an amazing idea. And I said, let me approach my parents about it. I asked them, can I borrow your credit to actually, you guys can take the mortgages and then sign off the mortgages, and I'll own the homes and I'll repair them. So this is how I got started in the real estate industry as a real estate investor. Fast forward years down the line, I moved to New York City and I opened a consulting business where I was helping investors and developers structuring financing for their projects, for the new development projects, which is new construction projects. And in 2015, summer 2015, I've decided to get my real estate license. And this is how I become a real estate broker. Now, as a real estate broker firsthand, I experienced personally many issues when it comes to data. And we all know every industry faces certain challenges, but the real estate industry, data has become a major hurdle, specifically for real estate agents, investors, and homeowners. And part of that experience is because of incomplete data. And I have hundreds of different experiences I could share with you guys, not having the right data, not having the right information, how many projects that have failed. So this is how I came to, with the concept of Willow. So incomplete data, what is that? Quite often, let's jump into, quite often, you're looking at a property as an investor, you might want to know more than just the size of the building or the size of the property. You might want to know the history of this property. What happened to this property? Was there a repair at some point? Was there a permit? Was there even an architectural drawing? Was it done properly? Was the city actually signed off that? And it's all part of the due diligence as an investor. And quite often that data is scattered everywhere, and taking the time to collect that data, unify that data in one report can be time consuming and quite often led deals to be crashed. And you guys also may not be familiar with the term automated valuation model, but you most likely have heard of Zillow's estimate. Zillow actually ran into some major issues last year within their own business model, where they were into buying and selling homes, and that business, which is what I'm buying, which that business ended up closing because their estimate were overestimating their own properties. So let's look at a real life case and a scenario that I actually worked on. So my buddy Chad, which was in my team at Compass, and he had this property for sale about 2 years ago. He reached out to me and said, Mike, can you find a great buyer for this property? I said, sure. So I walked into the property. It's a 9,200 square feet building. It's vacant. It's perfect for investors to come in and to renovate and add value. But there are many issues. Some of the issues is, how do you truly come up with an evaluation for that building? Now, if you go on Zillow today, right now as we are speaking, Zillow will provide an estimate for this particular building. It's worth $3.2 million. However, when I did my assessment, the building worth $3.9 million to $4.1 million. Chad ended up selling that building for $4 million. Chad ended up selling the building for $4,015,000. Now, what was the issue? What is the main issue with Zillow's estimate? Zillow just take everything that's sold in that block or in that neighborhood and then create a valuation based on per square footage and then come up with a number based on the building square footage. However, Zillow's not taking into consideration certain investment that were made into the property. They do not have that data. So what I was able to do today, I was able to go onto public data and also the Willow platform and actually compare data that Zillow is currently missing. So if we are looking at this property where it says $4.4 million, the document amount, this is directly from public data that this property was sold last September for $4 million. But also if you look right below, let's say any job types, there were between October last year and this past May, there was about over $1 million investment into this property. So the total investment into this property is about $5,080,900. How was Zillow able to come up with an evaluation at $3.2 million? So this is the issue that Willow is solving. And how do we do that? Willow provides data that makes the difference, which is relevant data. We provide property owners and investors or real estate professionals complete property property level reports. And how do we do that? We aggregate reports from different sources and we simplify that data into a simple report that makes anyone, whether you're an experienced real estate professional or a homeowner that's just interested about learning about your home or what's going on in the neighborhood, you can understand that data and actually provide you also with actionable data ready to use for insights to support buying and selling decisions. And we're also aggregating data from various sources as alternative data. For example, there are other data that impact a property value. For example, there's a new train station coming into the neighborhood, or they're adding new trains, especially for those who live in New York City. You can understand just speeding up your commute by 5 to 10 minutes will make a difference in your day. And that type of information does add to your property value. So if Amazon were to be moving somewhere not too far, let's say there was a scenario where Amazon was moving to Long Island City. So if Amazon were to be moving into your neighborhood, that definitely would add certain type of value to your property, and as well as economy data. How does the economy impact your property value? So we aggregate all that data, we simplify that data for anyone with any level of experience to be able to come up with an accurate property valuation, and also having supporting documents to actually generate property valuations. Now, currently, Willow, we are on a beta stage. We recently finished our MVP product. It's been a very long journey. I started a year ago, and I've worked with several development firms, and it's been a very, very long journey, and a lot of money was spent, and I was never to be able to actually complete an MVP product. So this was the reason why I took matters in my own hands and actually joined Immerse and being able to build an MVP product. So currently we're looking to service two part of the industry. We're going to start with the real estate agents. As an agent myself and spoken to hundreds of agents, I understand what are the issues that they are facing. But we are starting in New York City. However, there are 3 million licenses in the US and about 178,000 agents in New York State, and also 76,000 plus in New York City, which we are tracking every single one of those agents. We have their license number. We know what firm that their license has been hosted, and we know when they're moving firms, and then we know their contact information as well. So we're hoping to our first year to get into 500 agents, for 24 months to get about 500 agents to sign up onto our platform. And as well as we are looking to help property owners or investors transact, which is we want to represent owners and buyers and sellers and become their broker. And currently in New York City, annually, we're averaging about 90 billion in sales, real estate transaction sales. And we are most likely focused on the multifamily market, for example, with the example of the property I showed you earlier. And that particular property class, is going about $20 billion in annual sales. So we're looking to see if we can actually represent clients, and while we're providing relevant data to real estate professionals. And these are the numbers that we're looking into. Probably our first 24 months, probably close about $30 million in sales volume, which is a total property that we sold, the total sales volume of properties that we sold at a 2.5% commission, potentially 750K revenue, and also adding 500 users to our platform, and at $149 per user, which is half of what the market current competitors are charging, with less data and analytics. So this is how we're starting with real estate agents. However, our platform will be open for all real estate professionals. That's including property owners, that's including real estate investors, brokers, property managers, and service providers. And how would a service provider use our platform? We're aggregating so much data as far as violation data. If a building's getting constant complaint about windows, a service provider may look into that building. Maybe this owner needs window. If certain complaints are coming on and on because the owner is not truly managing the property the right way, the property manager may see that as an opportunity to reach out to this particular owner. They need property management. Just a brief history to recap. How did Willow started? Willow started as a team at Compass, which is one of the biggest real estate tech company. As a matter of fact, As of this year, they actually just got into the S&P 500 as a real estate tech company. We're a team of 5. We did about 20 million in sales in 2 years, with the 2 years that we were there. And after my personal experience, deals are falling through here and there. This is where I truly came in and said, listen, I need to take matters and fix that. And I need to create a platform. And I start the discovery of the Willow platform right around 2019, and then jump into 2020 when I really wanted to start. In March, we went into a pandemic and I pushed to March 2021. I built the first demo on Microsoft Power BI. And then right around May, end of May, this is when I started developing the platform with a no-code development platform company, and they were unsuccessful by December to even deliver an MVP product or even a product that had data working on it. So I applied to Immerse and I was able to join Immerse in March. And then in June, we finally have an MVP product. The next step will be basically our API connections. We are getting most of our data from public sources, for example, NYC Open Data. We're going to actually bring all that API into Bubble. And then hopefully by July, we'll be able to launch our product. So basically right now, the team is myself and a few contractors that are hired here and there to actually in the past prior to Immerse. But for now, it's myself. Definitely looking forward to anyone with expertise in data science or anyone with technical skills. If you are interested, reach out to me. We can have conversations. I'm very, very open. And you can even text me. You can even call me or reach out to me on Instagram. Our website will be back up. We were fixing some things with the website. I'll be back up shortly. You'll be able to go on our website, do some research. It's willowcre.com. And please reach out to me, any ideas, any questions. I'm very open for suggestions as well. Now let's jump into the product demo and show you what I have built. Willow is a real estate brokerage and a data platform that simplifies real estate market research for property owners and real estate professionals in New York City. John is a real estate broker. John is looking to grow his business and stay on top of the real estate market to advise his clients. John's coworker Mike told John about this amazing platform, Willow. Now John landed on the Willow website. John can research recent market history, recent approved certificate of occupancies, recent property sold, approved permits that are recently filed. Now, John can also stay in the loop. John would like to know when we launched, if we have a new product coming out or new feature. John can enter his email. John receives an alert. We'll keep John in the loop. John can also request a demo. John can also sign up and start doing market research. John will click on sign up. Immediately, as soon as John signs up, John have access to many different tabs within the platform. John can actually access market history, the approved COs. John will have access to a filter. John can look by borough. John would like to see everything that recently been approved, recent certificate of occupancy in Brooklyn. John can also search with a zip code. John is looking for Williamsburg, and the world zip code there is 11249. John can see all the properties on 11249. John will have the option to save. John can come back later on, see the label. John can actually create a link, copy the link, email it to his friends. John can also email it to himself or to a client. The reason John wants to do that, John is looking for a new building for his client Maria. Maria is looking for a new condo, but she wants to move in Williamsburg, but she also wants to move in a new building. John would like to know any new building in Williamsburg that recently received a certificate of occupancy. And John is saving this new building so that way John can actually show Maria a new apartment or new condo. John is in property search. John has access to all properties in New York City. He's still looking for his client. John can filter by multifamily, condos. John can filter by borough. John likes Brooklyn. John wants to look at maybe anything in Brooklyn now because he has other clients. And John has a client looking for a multifamily building. John can see all multifamilies in Brooklyn. John can see all the property details for multifamily. And for now, we have overviews, but there'll be tax data, permits, COs, and more. John will be able to see all that data for each individual properties. So John can actually hide the map. John can show the map. John can actually close. John can zoom in, zoom out on the map. And also John have access to analytics. John is also interested on studying the overall market in New York City. John is looking at all the 5 boroughs, and John wants to see the market history. What are the properties that are selling the most in specific neighborhoods, and what are the price point those properties are selling for in average price per square footage? But John can also look at a specific borough. John can actually filter a specific neighborhood. John can also filter a specific property class. On this scenario, John is looking at the overall city, and John wants to know what happens prior to 2020, prior to the pandemic. John is looking at from 2016 to 2020, all the transactions that took place, the total volume of dollar value that were invested into the city, the average sold price per transactions, and average price per square footage. John is also looking at which neighborhoods experience the most value as far as sales, number of transactions. John is looking at the top 10 neighborhoods. John is looking at the property class that was sold the most in the city, and John is looking at one family was the #1 property class, by number of transactions. But John also wants to know where the money was flowing, which property class experienced the highest value by dollar value. Now, John has market insights to continue advising his clients and continue to grow his business. Relo simplifies real estate market research for all real estate professionals and property owners in New York City.
Can you explain how you get data updated on a real-time basis? Like, is it purely automated, or you have people submitting data as well?
Yeah, well, the next step will be to connect our APIs. So, and the data will be automated. So the data will be updating in real time.
But so the data is already available through some APIs, basically.
Yes. So there's currently an API plug into Bubble. So I have the actual entire data set of New York City on Bubble as well. And then I have an external database that I've built on AWS. So we have 2 separate databases actually working on Bubble right now.
And accessing this data is free?
Yes, some of it is free, but we do plan on acquire additional data since I mentioned about alternative data, economy data. So some of that data will be acquired, but for now, we're actually pulling the data from NYC Open Data, which is provided to the public.
And you mentioned something when you talked about your pricing, about that it was half the price of what the competitors were doing. Can you talk about the competition a little bit? It sounds like if the data was available, some people should have been building something like this.
Yes, you would have thought so. And based on my experience at Compass, and they were a tech company as well. And I had 7, at some point, I think I had 7 different subscriptions. And the data is not the issue. A company like Zillow, you would think that by now they would be able to provide accurate evaluation. So the data is not the main issue. It's a lot of data, but not enough structured data. And also the data is not centralized. So there's a lack of centralized data for specifically commercial real estate because you don't have what we call an MLS for commercial real estate. So you do have a lot of data, but what you're lacking of, it's insights and also actionable insights. So Zillow will give you data. You can see which property that was sold, but you don't have truly actual insights to support your investment decisions as far as where are the evidence, how they were able to come up with this evaluation at 3.2 million when there is a $1 million investment that recently placed into that property, and it was also sold for 4 million. So we're talking about at the minimum, this property is worth at least 5 million, right? So the data is not the issue, insights is a major issue.
Thank you.
I have a quick question, Michael. Great presentation, super comprehensive. Again, the design's amazing. I know, especially as it relates to designing graphs and charts, sometimes it doesn't always come out looking as presentable and good. So it looked amazing on your platform. Yeah, a quick question around your product readiness. Are you currently out in the market? Is anyone using it? And you know, if not, do you have a wait list? Sorry if I missed that.
We should have been on the market last September. We end up not able to build an MVP product after spending thousands of dollars and hours with third-party companies. No, we currently not on the market. However, there's a lot of buzz that internally I have a very deep network. So I have access to personally right now on my phone, over 20,000 agents with phone numbers and emails. And, you know, a lot of people been waiting around to see when is this coming about, but we did run into some major challenges in being able to get that data to work the way we want it to work. And there were some scenarios that we were discouraged from building it on Bubble. And I was very stubborn. Bubble is the right way to go for a simple fact that once we have tools, once we have data, we can build almost any tools that we need for real estate.
The final question I had was around, you know, I'm looking into, you know, product roadmap. I think everything that I've seen today leads me to believe that this is a New York centric, you know, real estate platform. Any thoughts about going to other cities? And if so, is the data available just as easily through public means?
Yes. So the goal is, even though we're starting in New York City, part of my market, I showed you there are 3 million realtors in the United States. It's because that we want to go nationwide within 2 years. And this is a conversation that I've been having with several different data providers and that are ready to provide us with that data. And yes, we can go nationwide. Pretty much, I could have built this with an API with a nationwide data. But yes, I want to test the market in New York. New York is one of the biggest market and probably one of the most complex market for the simple fact that we have over 200 different property class within the city itself. So if we can configure figure out the market in New York City, I think we can go into any city, like just a matter of a click.
Yeah, you know, so the competitive advantage from my standpoint is your ability to pull data on structures, on buildings and houses, et cetera. Like in my town, if I want to change my deck, I got to go to the building department, put it on file, get it done. So the question I was wondering was really around, is it easy for you to get that data from my town? Do you automatically plug in? And how does that process work? And it could be as easy as, yes, every town has their own API connection. So that's what, yeah.
No, we have some states that have, some state will provide you with the public data, and some state have confidentiality agreements where you can't just really display. So there are third-party sources that actually have agreement with those states that actually can provide that data to me.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just have a quick question in terms of the business model for the advisory piece. Can you just provide a little more context around that? I understand the subscription, but would it be brokers, commercial real estate brokers coming on and advising with more data points, or how do you envision that?
Well, what we have experienced is that the real estate market, there's always two sides either way, right? There's a buyer representation, there's a seller representation. And since our platform is open to investors, if an investor comes to us and say, hey, Mike, we would like to disposition 2 properties. So we like to sell 2 properties, right? And they would seek for our advisory, but we can also bring a client to purchase that property as well and represent either both sides or represent one side of the transactions. Yeah. So we basically act as a broker as well as a data provider.
Okay, thanks, Carmen. So I think you kind of answered this question a bit already, Michael, but maybe you can just sum it up explicitly for the person who asked. So this person said, so many professionals in the industry need real estate data. Who is the most important user to target at this stage of your business?
Well, at this stage, we are launching for real estate agents. Quite often they're actually the group that's in need for it immediately. For the simple fact that I showed the example of Zillow. So imagine yourself a property owner, go on Zillow right now and see that their property worth $500,000, and the agent comes in and says it worth $400,000, because the agent is able to walk inside the building and see that there hasn't been any renovation done compared to the property next door that's valued at $500,000. So imagine yourself not having the evidence to sit with that client and say, hey, this is the reason why your property is showing on Zillow for that price, because X amount of properties in the neighborhood sold for that price, but your property itself, there hasn't been any renovation that's been done within the past 20 years. So other properties have been renovated, they're sold for a higher price. So not having the evidence, you can see like there's a major issue between agents, and I experienced those issues personally. So yes, in the immediate time, we want to launch this product for agents. And those are the group of people that just really, really need that data.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Right. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole, you're on mute.
Of course. Okay. Second time around, guys, and you actually see how this all comes together when we speak to Jabari in a moment. But so I want to thank the judging panel for the questions, the really insightful questions. I want to thank those of you that have pitched, the four of you, for really great pitches. I've seen these come together from the very beginning, so I really appreciate how you guys delivered tonight. And so we're going to queue for our judges to go ahead and deliberate. And while they're gone, we are going to be in for a treat, all of us together. We're going to take a look at hopefully this plays, but we're going to take a look at our entire cohort, our founders in residence. But before we do that, I want to first give you guys a couple messages from our prior cohort, and then we'll jump into this particular group, and then we'll tie up with a conversation with Jabari just about his experience in the program. And by that time, hopefully our judging panel will be back, and we will have a conversation with them about who they feel like really stood out. So with that being said, let's hear from cohort 3.
I decided to join Immerse for the camaraderie. I thought it'd be great to work with like-minded entrepreneurs to all build our apps together.
I thought Immerse would be an amazing place to build connection, meet founders like myself, and then also get the tools I needed to finish my product in a timely manner.
It really takes the risk out of the situation. To create a SaaS application, you're talking 12 plus months, you're talking a 6-figure commitment getting a developer. Whereas now with Bubble, you can build an application in 4 to 8 weeks and get that product on the market, test it, and iterate and continue from there.
The Immerse program has been phenomenal in that it truly does build you up. But at the same time, it shines a light on your weaknesses. And just getting that critical feedback can be challenging, but it's also incredibly healthy.
I do a lot of services that are custom, one-on-one, and very resource intensive, and I sort of maximum capacity as an individual with my business, and creating an online platform through Bubble is something that allows me to do the services that I do every day for my clients and now worldwide.
For new founders thinking of applying to the Bubble Immerse program, I would just think a lot about what are the basic features that you want to be able to give your customers right away. So break your ideas down into the core features that you think will give your product and your users the most benefit, and start there.
All right, if we do have any questions, you guys, about the program, please make sure to drop them in the Q&A function. I'd love to answer them while the judges are deliberating. But you also would have seen a Zoom poll launch actually during the this promo video. So please make sure that you complete that because we're gonna crowdsource a fan favorite together, right? So remember, there are 3 prizes that are gonna be given out tonight. So best product, best pitch, and our fan favorite. So make sure you make your choice known. And I know it's going to be a really tough one, right? But make sure you make your choice, and because we'll probably have the Zoom poll up for about 10 or so minutes, okay? And so going back to what I attempted to do in the beginning of this, I'm really excited to be able to show you guys, hopefully, just what this entire cohort has been up to, and for you guys to learn a bit about their backgrounds and the businesses they've been working on outside of the 4 finalists that presented today. So with that being said, this is cohort 4.
Ademola Owofiseo, permit partner. Having practiced in private architecture firms and public organizations for over 2 decades, Ademola is an architect with broad experience in design and construction. In his current role as a construction plans examiner, he helps residential and commercial builders get building permits by ensuring that proposed construction projects align with the regulations that protect public health, safety, and well-being. Through Permit Partner, he aims to make construction permits more accessible to people everywhere by increasing the dialogue and transparency. Floyd Muir, music tech product. Floyd Muir is co-owner of GNF Records and the founder of the music tech product formerly known as RightsBay. His love of music was fostered at a very young age before venturing into the music business with his brother, launching a music publishing company and indie label. As a producer and former musician, he's passionate about solving the issues that artists face when monetizing their intellectual property. He created the product formerly known as RightsBay to help early to mid-career musical creators better track their royalties and potential underpayments. Jabari Butler, Sign One News. In partnership with broadcast journalist and Emmy Award-winning producer Karen Graham, Jabari is co-founder and co-CEO of Sign One News, a digital media network that facilitates TV broadcast quality virtual productions and accessible content creation. In service of the deaf and hard of hearing community, Sign One News is the first and only cloud-driven digital network partnered with world news leader CNN to offer online news and information in American Sign Language. After realizing that all of his clients were facing the same challenge of finding interpreters, Jabari joined Immerse to create a marketplace that enterprises with high-quality, certified sign language interpreters and translators at an affordable rate. Jensine Mattis, Design Plum. After executing her first interior design project for Airbnb hosts in New York City, Jensine Mattis founded Design Plum, a platform at the intersection of interior design and wellness. Design Plum amplifies interior designers of color while inspiring people to create spaces they love and can thrive in to achieve mental wellness. With a background in psychology and social work, she believes everyone deserves a curated, functional space that meets their needs, interests, and promotes desired habit building. And due to the lack of diversity across the interior design industry, she's passionate about creating a space for people to find, connect, and collaborate with interior designers of color. Melanie Bowles, Lifelog. After losing both of her parents within the same period, Melanie found digital end-of-life resources and grief services to be scarce when she needed them the most. Starting with Lost Talks conversation cards, she founded Lifelog to empower grievers and their allies to have meaningful conversations about their loss. Melanie is scaling Lifelog into a platform for the bereaved to create an ongoing collection of digital memories and reflections of grief in a safe space. As a digital transformation expert, Melanie has over 10 years of experience developing digital strategies for small to medium-sized businesses in addition to Fortune 500 companies looking to improve user experience and increase conversions and revenue. Rebecca Marshall, Hemi. With a BFA in web design and interactive media and a master's in digital marketing, Rebecca has built a successful career as a front-end developer and email marketing specialist. Nonetheless, the restlessness and opportunity of the pandemic was her cue to forge ahead with her dream of forming a company that solves the needs she observed as a hobbyist sewer. She founded Hemi, a marketplace for custom-made clothes and clothing services to offer an alternative for on-demand, made-to-measure, and eco-friendly apparel. Through Hemi, consumers looking to collaborate with clothiers can find freelance tailors, dressmakers, designers, stylists, and shoemakers that will become the new epicenter of design.
And that is our cohort. That is our recent group of founders and residents in the Immerse program. So very proud of everything they've accomplished so far. And although all of them did not pitch tonight, I encourage all of you guys, Matt has been dropping a link in the chat for you guys to keep up with what's going on with them. Because as we always say in the program, like building continues after this. And so I know they're going to, this is just the very first step in their journey. So please keep up with them. With that being said, I'm really excited to bring to the stage now Jabari Butler, who you heard a bit about a moment ago. So Jabari, why don't you join me on stage, and we're going to have a conversation with him about his time in the Immerse program while the judges are deliberating.
Okay, well, here I am.
Hello, Jabari.
Great to see you.
Great to see you as well. So let's start with, first of all, for everyone in the audience, I mentioned as part of our Bubble Core, we have this weekly instruction time. And in addition to that, we complement that with weekly one-on-ones with both myself and Will. So they have their technical one-on-one, and with me, we focus on the business. And so in one of my first conversations with Jabari, we talked a bit about his storied journey so far right now in entrepreneurship, right? So Jabari's done quite a few things, right? Working at Coca-Cola, and then also starting a business in the wellness space. And he's run the gamut. And I think just in the program, I've also learned a lot from him, in addition to us really getting down to the nuts and bolts of what he's trying to build with Sign One News, the new marketplace he's trying to build. And so I really want to actually start there. As far as like your journey, right? Can you share with the audience just what has brought you to this point to applying to Immerse?
Right. Well, first of all, thank you. I think everyone's doing a wonderful job. And so it's amazing to be here with all these founders. I think that we cannot be here without Karen's mom. A long time ago, she had a vision from God. And she said, walk off, go look at building something that could help the deaf and hard of hearing community in the news space. Karen got that revelation, walked away from she walked away from a very lucrative career, Emmy Award-winning career, and saw the vision, and came and got me and said, hey, look, you can take her production experience, my award-winning technology experience, and create something special. We went looking for media partners. Many said no. CNN gave us the green light to go for it, and they believed that the deaf and hard of hearing would have equal access. Fast forward to now, we have a number of clients and companies who promote health information and critical news information on our platform. CDC's most recently. Centers for Disease Control, Morehouse School of Medicine, American Heart Association, a number of organizations who believe in health equity. And so in that process, they want to make sure that the news or critical health information, life-saving health information is accessible. We need interpreters for that to make sure that they can put that information in American Sign Language or Spanish Sign Language or some other language that they would understand. And so I found myself having a hard time having to wake up every day and every night looking for interpreters. She would be up on the phone calling different agencies, and we really couldn't find a real good solid method to get these resources. And so next thing you know, we hear about Immerse, and it's like, okay, it's an app building platform, and I got technology experience, but I found out this platform, and I realized that, wait a minute, we can build a platform. We don't have to spend $200,000 or more to bring this to life. And I mean, I was all in. I mean, I saw the last cohort, and we were excited about it. We applied right away. I think we had like 2 days left to put the application in, and we put it in, and here we are. And now I'm an advocate. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so for the audience, Jabari won the most likely to be a motivational speaker in the group because, the way he's speaking right now, I think you brought a lot of encouragement to this group during this process while you guys were all building, because you are very passionate about the work that you do and being in entrepreneurship and really riding the highs and the lows, right? And so I want to talk a bit about, for many people who have ideas in the audience, it really starts with that observation that you find while you're doing your work, right? Which is that you're working with all these enterprises, CNN and the like, and you found that, okay, all of them tend to have the same problem. Like they want to find certified translators, signers that can work, not just do the production that you're doing for them, but also for events. And so can you talk a bit about like how widespread this problem is? And I think for us, like normal consumers, folks who may not have family members or ourselves being the deaf and hard of hearing community, you may not be very aware, right, of this being a problem, with the exception of every now and then something will pop up on social media, how some uncertified signer or translator found their way to some high profile event, yes, right? And just made a mess, yeah, right? So you don't really understand what's going on until sometimes this kind of comes to the front of like sort of like the cultural, what's happening in culture. And so can you talk a bit about how widespread this problem actually is for enterprises? And ultimately, like this is what led you to wanting to start a solution like this marketplace.
Absolutely. I mean, watching the stories that would come in from, I think when Mandela was speaking or someone, and they found out that later on the interpreter was making up everything. I mean, no one really knew. If you don't know sign language, you don't know what they're saying. So the deaf community, in the meantime, they're all like, he's horrible, that person, they don't know what they're doing. And I'll even put, I appreciate the White House. However, we witnessed this, similar situation over there. We were getting an award from the Department of Human Services, and we had to go through, Secret Service and all this to get this award. And like at that time, the vice president was speaking and all this, and we got an award. And the one who was doing the signing, well, our folks, because we have a deaf staff, they quietly told us, they probably could have got somebody else to do that. My point, how is it that these organizations with vast resources are end up getting duped by this type of situation? And so, and I don't have any problem saying that. We find that if you don't know the culture, you don't know what's going on, you don't have the information. And so we got into the trenches and realized that even though you may be certified, does not necessarily make you a great interpreter. We don't know how much experience they really have. So that information is not out there. So that's widespread. It's all over the world, really. So we're still doing more information, more background research on that, but by our personal experience, we've even had challenges hiring people sometimes. And we do it every day. So you can imagine a company who has no idea who has to do it. It's a challenge. So we decided to build a platform that allow the market to help bring that correction and make it happen. It doesn't exist right now.
Okay, so let's talk about your time at Immerse.
You said what now?
So let's transition and talk about your time at Immerse. So you're one of the profiles of entrepreneurs that we get into the program that actually every now and then does have a little bit of tech experience, right? So you've built things before, a couple, languages, right? So you came into the program having this bit of a background. But often actually our target demographic for the most part is we talk about building or helping non-technical founders build, but I think a big part of our community, and I think over the 10 years that Bubble has been existing, a big part of that has been really on the back of people who are traditional engineers who wanted a faster, leaner way to be able to build apps, right? And so, you're somewhere on that continuum as an entrepreneur. And so I want to talk a bit about what that experience, having that background, what that contrast has been coming into Immerse and being able to build something leaner and faster than you have in the past.
Absolutely. I was taught by people who worked at NASA, and I'm actually a NASA scholar from years ago, and even worked in virtual reality research many years ago. And so we learned 80% on design and then 20% on like development. Heavy on design, big on design. Then you just develop a little bit, make it look nice. I had to shift my mindset and get a growth mindset coming into Immerse, because I was spending so much time on the design side, because that's how I was taught. I mean, these guys, they program missiles, they program rockets and things like that. So I'm gonna follow that. That has worked. I came in here and realized that, okay, you can shift to a more dreamlike scenario. You can develop your front end and just start building. That was a mind shift. I've been doing this for decades, and then here I am seeing an app. I hit a button and I can start programming it without any code. I can write the code in my head. I've got a lot of other friends who can do the same thing, but to see this happen, as you see later on, I was able to quickly put together in like 2 weeks a functioning app. We still have a lot more work to do, but my point is that once I shifted my mindset, I was able to take advantage of the power of Immerse and Bubble, and it's just incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
All right, so why don't we round off this conversation by talking about what the most rewarding part of this process has been for you. And I say that just with also contrasting this against, a lot of people would think that a program like this or building a bubble would be just really easy for you. But in the beginning, you did struggle. I remember in one of our one-on-ones, we had to have a talk like, okay, where are we in this process, right? We're staying a little bit too long on this part of this. And so, we had to, kind of push you along to go a little bit further in this process. Why don't we talk about ultimately, right, after experiencing some, challenging times, right? But what has been the most rewarding part?
I think the most rewarding part is bringing the vision to life. One of the secrets to success that I've found, and success leaves clues, is visions and goal setting. And oftentimes people don't have either one, or they have a vision, they don't know how to bring it about. And so, there's a word in the scripture that says, speak things that be not as though they were, and the people without a vision will perish. Well, what you've given this, the population that we're working with, these founders, myself, and many other people, is a tool to make their vision come alive. These tools are going to impact people's lives. And there's nothing you can really think about or say to that person who's really in a position now whereby before they had a $200,000 or $100,000, heck, even a $10,000 barrier to entry into just getting the design across, let alone getting it out into the marketplace. So I think removing those barriers has been, seeing that happen has been a great thing to me. And I think also looking at all of the previous people, the gentlemen and the women who are here, who are the previous cohort folks, and being in front of people who are like-minded, being in front of people who are actually out there making it happen, that is rewarding to me. So I think the most rewarding is really just engaging with other people who have that mindset, that spirit of entrepreneurism, and bringing the vision to life, and actually have the tools to do it. That's powerful. It has global implications.
Thank you, Jabari. And we felt this passion throughout the cohort. And I think every single one of the finalists here, if you guys can see their faces in the speaker view, I think they will all agree.
We were talking about it, right?
Yes, yes. So thank you so much, Jabari. I appreciate you spending a couple minutes here to talk a bit about your experience in the program. And so with that being said, our judges have deliberated and they're back with their final decisions. And I think before we jump into this, I want to tell all of the founders here tonight that, and I think I've said this quite a few times, but each and every one of you should be very proud of what you've built this far, and the journey will continue after this. So I just think you guys should all be very proud of what it is that you have showed this entire audience here tonight, showed the world tonight, really, that you guys are coders and developers in your own right. And so without further ado, we are going to select our fan favorite of the night. And this award, the 6-month subscription to Bubble, will go to, drum roll please, virtual drum roll please, Lisa Michelle, the founder of Bride Squad. Congratulations, Lisa. All right. Next up, we have Best Product. So the winner of Best Product is going to get a 1-year subscription to Bubble. And this individual is actually also our fan favorite. That is Lisa. Congratulations. Congratulations, Lisa.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And next up, we have our best pitch of the night. And our best pitch which is our culminating prize here. You also, in addition to getting a 1-year subscription to Bubble, you also win a $5,000 equity fee prize. And the criteria for this is really based on, do you define the problem well, the solution well? How do you talk about your competitive advantage, a possible business model, right? Because we have people at various stages in growing their businesses. And how you presented and answered the questions about the future vision of your company. So with that being said, our winner of the night for our $5,000 prize is Esra, the founder of Verve. Congratulations, Esra.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And so now we'll give the judges an opportunity actually to say a couple of words before we close out the night. But congratulations to all of you. Truly, truly congratulations to all of you for the hard work, not just displayed tonight. I think what people don't see is over the 10 weeks, right? Like people don't see